Well, welcome back, and what wonderful music to introduce part two of Saturday Live with Sean Williams and Richard Coles. For if you've ever been to the delightful island of Madeira, you may have noticed a rock with a ruin in Funchals Harbour. This is, in fact, the Principality of Pontinha, the dominion of a man who now calls himself Prince Renato, after he bought the island in 2000. Since then, it's acquired a Prime Minister, a national anthem, and now a candidate for British Ambassador and Plenipotentiary, Kevin Allmond, a draftsman and part-time karate teacher from Keighley. He was ennobled to the rank of Baron by telephone and now seeks accreditation to the Court of St James. He joins us from Leeds. Good morning, Kevin, if I may call you that.
Yes, of course you may, absolutely.
What should I call you, Kevin, if I were being formal and we were in the Court of St James?
Well, I'm guessing, I don't know, I'm sure Peter will be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing it'll be Kevin Anthony Lord Allmond, Ambassador Plenipotentiary to His Royal Highness Prince Renato, Barros of Principado Ilhu de Pontinha.
I mean, it's a wonderful title to have, but you do need to have accreditation, and I wonder if that's going to be problematic, because the sovereignty of Pontinha is at the very least disputed.
Yeah, I think I'm still Prince Renato's ambassador. I just don't get to be called His Excellency, I guess.
Do you get to wear the hat with the ostrich feathers?
No.
How annoying. Tell us how this came. Tell us first of all about Pontinha and its claim to national sovereignty.
Well, it appears to have been a little bit of a bog on the Portuguese government's side when they sold off the island by auction in 1903, and the auction papers were for the possession and dominion formerly held by the Exchequer, and obviously dominion is sovereignty or supreme authority in a legal sense, and so
ownership of the island would also bring sovereignty, dominion.
Correct, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And tell us something about the ruling prince at the moment.
Prince Renato?
Yeah.
I believe he's a school teacher, and he's having a bit of a ball with it, really. He's trying to go for the president of the IMF, because he was a bit miffed with the way the banks have been behaving recently, and the way he's gone about it, if you like, is he is the head of the only state that has no national debt.
It's a bold effort, and I applaud it.
Yeah, he wants to try and spread the wealth around a bit more evenly, is his ethos.
Well, that's a very laudable aim. But I wonder, Kevin, how did you come across Pontinha? Because I imagine it's not something that many people know much about.
No, I got interested in it when I found a letter on the internet a few months ago. It's basically his letter to the IMF, and the reply from Mr. David Vanier, who told him that basically, no, your application for presidency of the IMF was handed in a day too late. So that was the end of that. And I just thought that was amazing and quite funny. So I emailed him and said, hey, have you got any representation in the UK? To which he replied, no.
And that, of course, was music to your ears, and you were then appointed, I think, by telephone, or was it by email?
It was. I had a chat with the Prime Minister, and I said, look, I will do this for you. I will petition the UK government. I will try and bring people's awareness of your plight, if you like, of the Principality of Pontinha. Because the British love an underdog, don't they, to be fair?
They do.
And so I said, well, I'll go for this for you. But he said he couldn't pay me because he didn't have any money. He mightn't have any debt, but he has no money either. So we agreed that the position would hold the title of Baron as well. So that was confirmed by email about 2 months ago.
Lovely. I've had a look on the internet yesterday and looked at pictures of Pontinha, and it's hard to see that it will ever really achieve much in the area of GDP, because it is really just a lump of rock connected by a road to the rest of Funchal.
Correct, yes. Yeah.
So it's never going to be a play. I suppose it might be some offshore potential, but wouldn't that bring you into conflict with the Portuguese government? And I wonder, how do the Portuguese government look at Pontinha ceding from its state?
Well, I think the reason he seceded from Portugal was because they tried, when they realised what had happened, they tried to compulsory purchase it back. And that's when he seceded and applied to the United Nations for recognition and said, right, international law says that if you go by the declarative theory, says that I'm a nation. I've got this royal decree, if you like, from the auction saying I've got dominion of this island. What you going to do? And I believe they're looking at it as we speak.
Well, Kevin, stay with us, because we have Peter Hennessy with us in the studio this morning, and he knows everything about the Constitution. I don't know whether he knows everything about the Constitution.
Not your one, Kevin.
No, your one. Sadly, he can't sort that out.
I don't know much about it.
Well, Kevin, do you know who crowned him Prince Renato? Was it Mrs. Renato?
To be honest, I don't know. I'm guessing he just said, "Well, I own this, so I am a prince." Yeah,
some listeners will remember, and Tony will too, in the 60s, somebody set themselves up on one of those old gun towers in the Thames estuary, those great sort of Dalek type things sticking out of there, and declared themselves king of something or other, and the Royal Marines were ready to go and remove him, but they never did.
Well,
a friend of mine actually was ready to do that under instructions, of
actually,
course,
that was
from the
Sealand.
government. That's right. You've got it.
Sealand.
That's right.
What year was that?
That was in the late 60s, I think, Tony, wasn't it?
remember
And
that.
he was just left there, wasn't he? I think it was thought better not to have the Royal Marine raiding party scrambling up.
But I think
attention-seeking behaviour, so you just leave them alone. That's the argument.
I think they went in and he shot at them with a shotgun.
Oh, you've got a better memory than me. I didn't think they went in.
Funnily enough, I've looked into it.
But we don't want you to maintain a standing army. I would advise, though, in this issue of coronation, it could be easily solved by His Royal Highness appointing a cardinal archbishop if there were a clergyman of some kind available for that
Knocking
role.
about, not doing anything.
Not doing anything at the moment.
Just think of the kit you could get.
I know, fantastic.
It'd be fabulous, wouldn't it, Richard?
Yeah. Oh, and one thing, Kevin, because we'd love to play the national anthem, but we can't actually find it on the BBC's extensive database. What is the national anthem of Pontinha?
It's no, you've got me. I found it just the other day myself. It's the old Portuguese national anthem before it became a republic in 1910. But I can't remember the title of it because again it's Portuguese. So,
how lovely.
And I can't hum it.
Okay, how lovely to hear it again. We won't have to see Ronaldo grinning either, which is lovely. Kevin, Lord Allmond, Ambassador Plenipotentiary Designate of His Royal Highness Prince Renato Barros of Pontinha to the Court of St James's. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This week, John McCarthy is a little